Real estate is one of the simplest ways to build long-term wealth, and one of the easiest ways to get wrecked if you don't know what you're doing. So this show, it exists for one main reason: clarity. Me and Keith, we're talking deals, markets, financing, flips, all of it, but always through the lens of what's working, what isn't working, and why. I'm your host, Dayton Lindsey, and I promise you that this podcast is going to help you save time, money, and you from painful lessons. So, let's get into this.
Oh, forgot to change my lights.
Change your lights.
Hey,
This will
name two
absolutely
colors
be
that
in the
go.
video.
What are two colors
Two
that
colors
go
that go
together?
together? Yellow and purple.
Okay, well, that's what I got. Does it work?
Nice.
I can't really see this one.
You can't really see the yellow, but the purple's good to see.
Make the yellow a little brighter. Is that better?
A little bit, yeah. Mostly only in the corner though, by like your left elbow or your right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Cool. It's kind of a gradient. I can only see like from right here where the tip of my finger is.
Yeah.
It looks like it's yellow, purple, white, which I'm fine with. That's not what I was going for, but at the end of the day, I don't really care what I'm going for. I just want it to look different each time. All right, cool. We're already recording. Let's jump into
We're
it.
recording.
Next round.
This will all be part of the video.
Sure.
You talk to a lot of investors who are crushing it on lead gen. What's the most unusual or unexpected source of motivated sellers you've ever heard someone use successfully? I know a couple episodes we talked about the obituary and funeral homes, so that one's out of the question.
Yeah. I have a guy who is kind of a handyman. Like he repairs fences, he does siding, he'll lay your pavers in the backyard, he'll power wash your fences, so on and so forth. So he just does a smorgasbord of different things. And so he'll go into these houses and really this is his lead generation. Like he does real estate investing part-time, but his full-time gig is this contractor stuff, handyman.
Okay.
Stuff. And he'll go into his customer's house, see that it is in a horrible state of repair, or potentially it's not. Sometimes they're beautiful homes and they're just doing it, fixing a leak or whatever. And he'll just strike up a conversation, and he finds out like there's some huge limiting, motivating factor. Usually things don't come out like foreclosure, but things like divorce or inheritance, those do come up. And so he's got the gift of gab. If he can't generate a lead on the property that he's on right now, he's going to ask about the neighbor who has the boarded up window, or the one on this side of their house, the one that has the really tall weeds. Yeah. Does anybody live in that house? Like he's a little bit nosy in that way, but unsuspectingly nosy. And that has worked for him for, I don't want to say a really long time, but at least a couple of years, three years maybe, where that's since he got started in real estate, that is his only form of lead generation, is free marketing. I have another gentleman who is a driver. I want to say he's an Amazon driver, but he may be like FedEx or USPS or something like that.
Yeah.
So he has to be USP. Well, I don't know if he has to be USPS, but I do know that he has access to the USPS change of address type of dealio.
Okay.
So he's able to
That's
see
like invaluable
houses. Say it again.
I said that could be invaluable if you got your hands on that as a investor.
Yeah, dude. So it's actually similar. I'll tell one more story. Hopefully I won't get anybody in trouble with that one. But he's driving all the time. So he sees all the crappy houses, all the vacant houses, all the boarded up houses, and the ones that are like slowly getting worse and worse and worse. He's driving all the time. So he sees the estate sales. Whenever there's an estate sale, the definition of an estate sale is they're dead. We're selling all their crap. Well, are you selling the house? Right? So he literally just keeps a clipboard on top of his dash, and he writes down the address, and he goes back home and skip traces it. I have in a similar fashion, the skip tracing is built into this one. I have a friend who's a cop, and he's able, I don't know if you know this, but you can plug in the license plate number of a vehicle and get that person's name and phone number instantly, and it's always correct. Like, it's always
I did
correct.
know that.
So
I have lots of
that's how
family who's law enforcement.
he finds a legit legal reason, so that he's not, breaking rules or a abuse of power or whatever, and he'll find a reason to plug in that license plate and get their phone number, and he'll call them, and he'll state the reason why I'm sheriff or whatever, police officer, this person, and I'm calling you about this. And then, do you by any chance be selling your house? Because I also noticed this. I'm a real estate investor. I buy houses in your area, and he'll switch gears a little bit on that call. So those are all kind of a little bit weird, unique ways that I've seen people successfully generate leads that are good enough for them to close deals and to make money.
Yeah, frankly, if a cop called me asking about out of the blue for unbeknownst reasons to me, and he calls me about, hey, X, Y, and Z, and then he switches to, are you selling your house? I would be more concerned about, my mind immediately went to, is there a warrant out for something that I'm hiding in my house or something? Am I accidentally caught up in some sort of operation? Well, that is an incredible story.
I have a really good friend of mine who's no longer a sheriff, but he tells the coolest story where he was actually on the phone with a seller while on duty. He was kind of just staked out, and they were looking for like this one guy in a very specific guy in a very specific truck to go down this road. He had known acquaintances down there, and so he was in his duty vehicle, and he's putting the property under contract. Like, the seller said, yes, let me walk you through. I'm going to send you the DocuSign. And he sees the truck. And so he's like, hold on one second. Flips on his lights. Siren rolls, whatever it is, code 4, 3, or 2, or whatever. Yep. Lights and sirens. And says, the guy already knew that he was a sheriff, right? And he tells the seller, hey, I'm on duty. I have to conduct an arrest. I'll be right back. And he didn't hang up the phone. He left the phone there. And the seller didn't hang up the phone either. So he got to listen to the entire thing as he was reading him his rights and shoving him in the vehicle. And then my buddy gets in the car and, hey, I have to go take this guy down to the station. I'll give you a call back in about 2 hours. And he did that deal. He
oh my God. How could you not conduct it? Yeah, how could you not, as the seller, be like, oh man, I'm selling my house to this badass sheriff that just caught someone while doing a deal with me? That's like an awesome story to tell later on down the line. I'd be totally impressed.
He doesn't tell it enough. It's a good story.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Well, now everyone who listens to this will know. Thank you, Sheriff Real Estate. We appreciate your service. There is the idea that the weirder and more confusing your mailer is, even a blank postcard with just a phone number, the higher the callback rate. Because curiosity beats a pitch. Do you buy that, or do you have you ever tested it?
Neither. Nope. I haven't tested it, but I'm also not buying it. I think that is a load of horse pucky.
Okay, how come you're not buying it? Okay.
Yeah, because curiosity, I'm not looking, again, just to be super candid, I'm not looking for somebody to be curious. I'm looking for somebody who is seriously in pain and seriously looking for a solution. So, again, this is just a simple target market fit. If you don't have a target market match, they're not going to be a good fit. If they're calling you because they're curious, think about what you said, a blank postcard with a phone number. Yeah, my name's Keith and I buy houses in Melbourne, Florida. Are you interested in selling yours? No, you stupid. I was just calling you because your dumbass gave me a postcard you forgot to write in it. All you did was leave your phone number on the back side. Oh, you don't want to sell your house? No, I don't want to sell my house. I have no intent of selling my house. I'm never going to sell my house. Matter of fact, I'm going to die in this house. Screw you. Have a great day. And then they're just going to get hung up on. I don't know. Like, I've had plenty of sellers tell me something like that. So I personally would not do that because curious people is not my avatar. Serious people is. That's all I got.
That's it. That's all. Okay, that makes sense. I guess it would be more like for the curiosity to happen, you would have to even potentially hit your avatar. You would have to add something about what you're doing along with the phone number. It would be like what could we add with the phone number?
Yeah.
I
So
don't
it
know,
would
something,
have to.
something
There has
random
to
like
be
how.
some level. There has to be some level of intent, right? So my curious versus serious words, kind of a play on words because they sound similar. The reason why I like serious people over curious people is because their intent is high. And so if you can get that somewhere else, like everybody knows that our phones listen to us. And so
Yeah.
if I am selling life insurance, right? If that's my job, selling life insurance, and somehow I know that this person has been talking about getting life insurance, they're super worried, their friend died, and they just totally left his family high and dry because he didn't have any life insurance. He had all these medical bills and a mortgage. And now his wife's stressed out. And then me and my wife are talking and the phone knows it. And now I'm actually going to different life insurance providers' websites and I'm filling out their forms. And I've watched some YouTube videos. This all shows intent, right? If you can somehow know that their intent is really high, sure, you already know they're serious. Now make them curious. But if there's no way of proving intent, I think that is a stupid marketing campaign that is just going to create a humongous waste of time because you are going to have a really high call rate, right? Your response rate is going to be through the roof high because people are curious. But when it comes down to what your ROAS is, your return on ad spend, I care far more about what my return on ad spend is compared to what my response rate is. Is response rate typically indicative of a ROAS? Yes, when you have a target market, fit. If you don't have your target market fit, nah, you're just wasting your own time fielding all these calls from people who are curious.
Quick aside, if you're getting value out of this, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below with what you want Keith and me to cover next. It helps the channel out a lot, and it tells us what you want to learn about. Anyways, back to the video.
That was an interesting question. That I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Subject to is everywhere right now. You teach a lot of what you teach is subject to. But what's the deal structures? Nobody, sorry, but what's the deal structure nobody's talking about yet that might be the go-to for the one that's going to be the subject to of 2027? Sorry, I really worded that badly. My apologies.
It's fine. I understand your intent. What's the new go-to strategy of structuring deals that is advantageous in the market environment that we're currently in? Well, whether it's 2027, 2026, or 2025, I think that it's Novations. Novations have crushed it last year and are already crushing it this year. I have a brand new client who hasn't even been with me for 6 months. He just completed his first Novation deal and got $33,000. Did nothing to the house, didn't take title to the house, didn't raise any money for the house, literally just had the know-how and the paperwork and made over $30,000 net profit.
Okay,
in
and
6 months of coming into my program.
before you continue on with what you want to say, I want to get a quick, like, one sentence definition of novations, if you can.
Cool. Yep. So this is not legally what a novation is, but anybody who listens to this typically knows what wholesaling is. And so I'm going to connect neural synapses between what you know and what you don't know. It's kind of the legal version of wholesaling on the MLS. So wholesaling is getting outlawed in a whole bunch of states right now. We literally just had, every couple of weeks, literally a new state is coming out with a new either requirement or a ban of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So wholesaling is not the way to go. Wholesaling sucks right now. Novations is the legal way of wholesaling on the MLS. There's no bigger cash buyers list than the MLS. I realize that anybody on here is like, oh my God, Investor Base has the biggest cash buyers list. Investor Lift has the biggest cash buyers list. There's a trillion different softwares out here. Yes, they're all amazing. They all have huge cash buyers lists. There's millions of people. Where's the biggest cash buyers list? What has always been the biggest cash buyers list, and what's always going to be the biggest cash buyers list? Well, for as long as it exists, the MLS is going to be the biggest cash buyers list. You will always be able to sell the house as long as it's in financeable condition. You can get access for showings, and the seller doesn't mind waiting for the days on market. Those are the three core constraints that hold people back from conducting a novation. But as long as those three are green light, then you can novate the property, and you get the benefit on the buy side. You get the benefit of, I'm not actually buying it. I'm not taking title. There is no risk. I'm not putting any money into it. You also get the benefit on the sell side of, I'm selling it to the biggest cash buyers list of people who are not investors, that are Joe Schmo who's going to actually live in the house. They're an owner occupant. They're not trying to make any money. Therefore, they can pay full cash, full top dollar for the house, and they're not doing it cash. They're financing it with a conventional loan, an FHA loan, a VA loan, an ag loan. Like they're able to spend way more money because they're getting the house financed. So novations are the hidden strategy moving forward that, to my knowledge, there's only 3 of us that are really teaching it.
Okay. That was actually probably really good to know leading into 2027, especially because wholesaling has been a really big part of the industry for a long time. So
Yeah.
Moving into novations 2027, you heard it here first. Get in now before the strategy is oversaturated.
If you don't know how to do a novation, I have a course that I'll give it to you for free. It's called the Deal Structure Dictionary. And you don't even have to reach out to me, dude. You can just go to my Facebook profile. I literally have a pinned post. I'll probably always have a pinned post that says, choose a course for free. And all you have to do, fill out the form, and I send you your username and password to get into the course. Go straight to your email. Done. Super simple. And that course is called the Deal Structure Dictionary. I teach you how to buy a house in step 2, owner financing, DSCR loans, cash, hard money, private money. People mainly only know like conventional financing, FHA financing, and VA financing. That's kind of it. Fannie Freddie products. They don't know how to do creative financing. And then I also teach in that same course, the Deal Structure Dictionary, I teach you all the exit strategies as well: wholesaling, retailing, renting, wrapping, novations, lease options. Now that you have a full toolkit of entrance strategies and exit strategies, you carry more utility in the marketplace. You are more useful. You can get more people to say yes because you can help more people. You can help more people, you get more yeses, you do more deals, you make more money. Go grab the course. It's free.
Well, that kind of messes up my next question here.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Where's the other ones that I have? All right, here he is. You've structured hundreds of deals. What's the one clause, one contingency, or one piece of language in a contract that more investors need to be using, and almost none of them are?
Hmm.
I think this is the first question I've kind of stumped you on.
I have a lot. You kind of mix two things together, which was how you structure it and then clauses for your contract. And so I'm trying to think about a Venn diagram of both of those because I can talk to one thing, but it's not going to talk to the other audience. I think
Fair
that
enough.
there's only one thing that is both structure as well as confidently. There's only one thing. Because there's a whole bunch of things that you need to have in your contract regarding structuring the deal, and there's a whole bunch of things that you need to have in your contract that like gets you out of the deal in case it's a bad deal. By the way, while we're giving out free courses, I have another course called the PSA Protection Package, which is a purchase and sales agreement, and all the stuff that you need that goes along with it. You can get that for free as well. That one's not on my Facebook though. We'll have to put that in the
Yeah,
YouTube.
it'll probably be in the description of the video if you are listening on YouTube. If
You can
you're
get
on
that.
Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it's probably going to be in the description of the video. So double check
Perfect.
there. If not, just
You
go to
can get
YouTube.
you can get the purchase and sales agreement for free, which is obviously worth a lot of money because I've had my attorney go over it like 50 times. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating, 50 times since the time that I started using it back in 2016. And
So you keep
we've
it
closed
updated.
deals with what's that?
So you keep it updated.
Heck yeah, we literally updated it at the beginning of this year. Yeah, we updated it last month actually. In February, I had an attorney reach out to me because of we don't have time to get into it. We update that thing every time I update it for like my personal one, I update it for everybody to include the one that's in that course.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can get the purchase and sales agreement for free. You can't get all the other documents for free. $47. So put up or shut up. Just kidding. That was rude. Shouldn't have said that. It is important though that you have more than just the purchase and sales agreement. Purchase and sales agreement is enough to get you started, but what about all the other documents that you're going to need? $47 is pennies compared to what you would pay if you were to get an attorney to draft this stuff up for you like I did. And you have me for, I don't know, like 5 hours going over the purchase and sales agreement and all these other ones, cheat sheets, just recordings of me actually doing it, breaking down why I said what I said, so on and so forth. Okay, let's get back to it. Your question. Deal structure, purchase and sales agreement, literature. Venn diagram, it's paragraph 4 of my purchase and sales agreement. Paragraph 4 is broken down. Paragraph 4A, B, C, D, E, and F. It breaks down the structure of the deal. Too many people have a plain Jane purchase and sales agreement that only allows for the sales price and earnest money deposit. Well, mine breaks that down into as many modular would be like the best way of saying it, where like you could use it, you can grow with it, it adapts with every deal. It's as modular as it comes. If you're doing EMD, of course you're going to be doing EMD. If you're giving the seller money when they sign, that has its own line item. If you're giving them money after your inspection, that has a line item. If you're giving the seller money at close, that has a line item. If you're taking the mortgage subject to, that has a line item. If you're going to be giving the seller installments via a promissory note, that has a line item, right? So because it's broken up individually and it is modular, if something doesn't apply, like for example, I don't give anybody money when they sign. Are you kidding me? You get to do the deal with me. I'm not going to give you money when you sign. So I don't, we just leave it blank, right? So if you're not going to use that line item, leave it blank. If you are going to use it, wonderful. The cool thing about how we've broken this up is no matter how creative you want to structure this deal, it gives you the ability. You can put $10 now, $1,000 when they sign in order to move out of the house and rent a U-Haul, and then you can give them $10,000 when you close in order to pay for all their moving expenses, and then you can be taking their mortgage subject to, and you can still owe them $100,000 and be paying them $500 per month until pay. It gives you unlimited flexibility. Because of that, that is single-handedly the most important thing that you need to have in your contract that gives you the ability to structure deals in unique and creative ways. Because again, it all comes down to how do you solve people's problems? You do that creatively. And the more useful you are, the more utility you have in the marketplace, the more people you can help, the more people will say yes to you, the more deals you do. That paragraph alone sets you up for success.
As a seller asks you point blank, are you going to flip this property and make a profit? What do you say? Did that make sense?
Hell yeah, I am. So much
Okay.
so that I even have a paragraph in my purchase and sales agreement. I say, come over here. Let me read paragraph 17 to you. And then I will read it. Verbatim, Mr. Seller. It says that I'm going to be buying this house to make a profit. Therefore, let me read it. Let me actually read it, because it
All
literally
pull it
could
up.
not be more what's the right word? More
On the nose.
what's the word that means I'm covering all my bases? Comprehensive, I guess would be a way of saying it. All right, purchase and sales agreement edited by attorney 2026-01. So January of 2026.
For the month.
And to be very specific, I can see the date, and it was January 27th. All right, so now I'm going to search for the word profit. Ready? Resale of property. This is very easy. It is a single one sentence called resale of property. The seller, excuse me, it's them. The seller agrees that buyer on this contract retains all profit, whether by note, trade, or cash, in the event of resale of this property, simultaneous close, assignment, or novation of this contract. Yes, Mr. Seller, I'm going to flip your house and I'm going to make money. And if I can't make money, I'm not buying it, because this is how I feed my family. Just how you have your W-2 job, your electrician job, your whatever the heck they do. This is what I do. Yeah, I make money off your house. If you don't like that, I'm not going to buy your house. It's really simple. No hard feelings, by the way. But yeah, straight up tell them.
Damn. In black and white in the PSA sales agreement. That is what you should say.
Literally.
But with that being said, that's all the questions I have for you today, man. That was a nice little energy that we jumped off on here.
Yeah.
And giving everyone an insight onto paragraph or section what? 17?
It was actually 22.
22.
I thought it was 17, but it's actually 22. Yeah.
Section 22 of your purchase and sales agreement.
If y'all want the purchase and sales agreement, it's free. Dayton will drop a link to that in the episode below. If you want to know how to structure deals, entrance, exit, super creative, that's also free. Just go to my Facebook, click on the pinned post. Boom, you're done. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat below, and we will see you guys next week.
See you next time. Real estate isn't magic. It's a skill. And the people who win long term are the ones that keep stacking the reps. That means learning, analyzing, staying patient, and making good decisions. If you want to keep building that skill with us, make sure to subscribe and send this to someone who needs to hear it, because I know you know someone that needs to. Anyways, that's all for today. Take care.